Okay. So is everything going to be all buggy? And... Well, let's find out. But hi everyone, if you see me. Let's try to see the chat here. Looks good? Alright. Alright. The drinks are good. Hi, Nicole. How are you doing? How do I get rid of this? Alright. So yeah, we're live streaming from Paris, from the Goutte D'Or Brasserie in the 18th district. Right now I'm enjoying the Chateau Rouge. It's a red ale with peppers in it. So yeah. So far it's actually really good. You're going to move to the other side. Alright. Why? Because I'm getting your shoulder in there?
Yes.
Alright.
It looks like a fat shoulder.
Oh, it does not. Thank you, Crimson. How are you doing? Oh, and Cease is here.
Yeah, Cease has been here. She came in a minute ago.
Oh, nice. I want to be able to see the chat. Let's do that. Okay. Cool. Oh, of course. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate the beautiful-ish. But yeah, so we decided to come here because my birthday's in a couple days, and we decided not to go to Belgium today, unfortunately. But I think it was for the better because we were able to instead hit up a couple things. We went to the Père Lachaise cemetery today to go see Jim Morrison. She did. Because I kept crying that it was my birthday, and she's like, fine, I'll go. So she was very sweet to do that. I know. But yeah, so we did Père Lachaise to go see Jim Morrison and Chopin's graves. Yeah, it kind of is. Like you pass a lot of people around here. Exactly. But we'll probably take a taxi out of here to get to our food destination of the day. But yeah, they do some nice beer so far. I've had one so far. It was a golden ale, I think. And so far so good. This is the second one. Like I said, it's a red ale with peppers, and peppers aren't very strong. I mean, you definitely taste them on the back end, but other than that, it's good. Yeah, it's very light, very easy drinking. The other one I have here was a brown ale. Yes, there's a brown ale, and they infused juniper berries and juniper branches in it. I haven't tried this one yet. Yes, I did get the flight because they had 4 beers on tap and I wanted to try them all. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this one had the juniper berries and this one... Because this one tastes spicier. you want to smell it?
That's the one with the ginger in it.
Maybe I'm just all confused.
Okay, this candle's warm, so I'm moving it over here by me. I like warm my hands over it like I'm a campfire.
Yeah, that's definitely the ginger one. Goldie is having water, and I fed her smoked goat cheese and bread. So yeah, she enjoyed that very quickly, inhaled it more so. I think it's fancy tap water. When I was reading up on this place, it said it was the first craft brewery of Paris. So I figured we might as well check this out first. Oh, she has been getting angry this whole trip, unfortunately. But, So, how's everything with y'all? What's going on? What's new? What am I missing? I'd say it's about the same. I've had some really good wine. I've had some really good wine. And this is some really good beer. I tried some good beer from the Kronenberg Brewery the other day, which was they were kind of doing a Belgian style, a blonde, and they also had a golden ale, and those were both good. What's next for us? I think after this, after I drink, we're going to go get food for dinner. Oh, and the new update is I broke my glasses last night by rolling onto them and smashing them in half. So I had to find crazy glue at 8, 9 o'clock last night to be able to sit there in the hotel room and try to glue it back together. So as you can possibly see, the crack in between there. Yeah, so that was fun. Yeah. So that was really fun to deal with. I had to glue them twice last night because the first one didn't take. The second one did, luckily, so they've actually been fine today. They survived. But what else did we do today? We also went to the Army Museum today and saw Napoleon's burial site and his horse that he had when he died. So that was kind of interesting. Apparently he loved this horse so much, he had it for the last 14 years of his life, that he had it stuffed and put into the museum by his burial. Yeah, that's how much he loved his horse. But to be fair, to get to this horse, you have to go to like the very back of the museum, and it's like the museum kind of takes you like down this path and then like turn. But like when you're supposed to turn, you're supposed to keep going, and it's at like a dead end in like a glass case. So you'd probably definitely skip it if you didn't know that you're even looking for this horse. And he looks kind of scrawny. I mean, it was just a very skinny horse. Anything to add to this?
I mean, it apparently had been dead 20 years before they even stuffed it.
Right, yeah.
I don't even know how they preserved his flesh for 20 years.
Yeah, like this horse died in like 1823, and they didn't stuff it until 1840 or 1850. They're not sure on the date, but between that 10-year gap, after 20 years, it finally got stuffed. And they the way they did it was it died in Elba with Napoleon, and then they immediately shipped it to England to protect it from the politics that were going on in France at the time, just so that they could protect this horse. She actually has had no brie whatsoever this whole time. She's actually been very easy on the cheese recently, other than eating croque monsieurs and croque madame. I know. She's been trying to eat fairly healthy this trip, and I applaud her for that. Yeah, she does need to eat some snails. Try it out for the first time. But what else did we do? Are they though? I've never had them, but I guess because of the texture, because they can get kind of slimy. So wait, you had it in Canada? Not even in France? You went all the way to Canada just to have snails. That's a better deal than waiting in line for barbecue. I suppose so. Going to Canada to eat snails versus waiting in line for barbecue. I've been in line for barbecue, even though I don't eat it. I kind of agree. Yeah. Canada is definitely better than waiting in line for barbecue. I can wholeheartedly agree with that. Especially if it's in Austin when the lines are ridiculously long and you're kind of bored with it. And at the end, you're not even going to eat with. So. Well, I guess. I don't know if the snails is really a selling point to going to Canada, though. Really? That's really weird. Because Red Lobster in the U.S. definitely does not have snails. Yeah, I suppose so.
Put a heater in here, you know.
I could. Do you want my coat?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to wear two coats.
I'll just put it over your shoulders.
But again, it's still two coats.
We're not. We were supposed to. We were supposed to go this morning, and I opted not to go because we still had a lot of things to do in France. We are. Yeah, we were going to go this morning, and then I kind of called an audible, said, screw it, it's worth losing out on the money for the plane or for the train just to get some things seen in France. It is currently 8:38 at night, but apparently the daylight savings starts tonight, so we're going to lose an hour, which I did not realize. I was wondering why they kept saying that it was just a 6-hour difference from when we left Dallas, because I'm always used to it being 7 hours. And then all of a sudden we got a note in our hotel room when we got back today, and it was saying, oh yeah, by the way, there's going to be daylight savings tonight, so have fun with that. Tomorrow, I think Goldie needs to rest her feet, so we're going to probably get one of those tour bussy things, like the hop on, hop off buses, and just check out all the touristy sites, and that way we can just get on the bus. Goldie's massaging her feet. What, lol, I hear you wrong for sure. No duck tours, no. It's kind of double-decker buses with the top level just open. Duck tours are very classy, I agree. When you'll take you around town and then they hop in the water and you're like, oh, how very fancy. But I'm excited for the top off on the bus. I'm going to make Goldie sit on the top, even if it's cold. Oh, do they have duck calls too? That's not selling this experience. Yeah. Yeah, yesterday we went to Versailles. And it was very cold, and we realized that to go from the actual castle to the offshoot castle parts, it was going to be a good walk in freezing cold temperature, so we opted to pay for the little tram that takes you from point A to point B to point C to point D, just to go find the place that Louis the 14, I think, would go see his mistress. He had an entire place built just for his mistress. But then we took the train ride and we realized, yep, this was definitely worth it because it was a very far distance. And then you get... Oh, did it? I'm curious to see what mistresses had to make you think of. Excuse me. It kind of feels like it. It's a small little place. It's about 4 kind of small picnic tables, and then a bar. That's really, and then there's like 2 what are they called? Barrels that you can stand at to enjoy your beer. But it's very compact, very cozy, I guess you could call it. It's cool, I like it. We actually went to the place across the street thinking maybe that was it. And I was like, hey, is this the place that I'm thinking of? And they're like, you're looking for the beer, right? And I was like, yes. And they're like, yeah, it's right across the street. You're not in the right place. I said, oh, okay, good. So here we are now. So now we're moving on to the brown ale. The place across the street had like couscous, and it was just like it was not a brewery type place. This place, you come in here and you see like the tanks and everything, you're like, okay, yeah, this is the place. There's just like a bar and like a couple chairs or a couple tables, and they advertise that they sell couscous. So you're like, I don't think beer is brewed here unless couscous is one of the ingredients. Places trying to get you to come in for couscous. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't that sell you on it if you're like, I'm looking for couscous, and they're like, we sell couscous. You could. I mean, if you can use rice and beer, I don't see why not. I mean, exactly. It's a grain. It's something you could do. I think the question at that point is, what type of couscous would you use? Would you use Italian or Israeli couscous, where it's all big, or would you use the small one? I think the bigger question is, why not?
That's not what couscous
Can do for you.
What you can
Do for couscous. Exactly. For flavor, I mean, it's got a different grain flavor, so it would accentuate your beer. Push that. Oh, there we go. Yay. So, Cease is asking, what's your favorite part so far?
the chat. I really liked Versailles. I wish the weather would have been better. I wish the weather today was the weather yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
amazing. But
the weather yesterday was very rainy.
it still wouldn't, like the gardens still wouldn't have been.
Right.
It blew me.
Yeah.
I did see. I put a lot of them in Discord. I'm gonna like go through and put them up on Facebook little by little. I really liked the catacombs. Did not like the museum we went to today. That was the most boring thing I've ever fucking done in my life.
So Goldie decided that that one of the things we would do today, because we were trying to figure out things to do after we went to see Napoleon's tomb, and we went to the cemetery. So we were trying to see what else to do. She finds the Museum of
Invention. It was like
of invention and of jobs. It's essentially
not jobs. It was
what's métier, which is like profession. Sorry, it's a profession. So it's invention and profession is the
the translated title was Science and Industrial Instruments.
okay.
But
I think they did a really bad job of translating that, because that is not at all what that means in French. They do show it was a lot of like going from room to room, and it's like, hey, here's the advances in glass. Hey, this is when they figured out how to use coloring glass.
the thing was is at first, it was kind of neat because they had like, okay, here's what a phone has looked like over the last,
Right.
100 years.
Right, like
Starting with the first phone all the way to a current cell phone.
right from Alexander Graham Bell,
But
and then the first cell phone in France.
The thing is, it was just hodgepodge in a cabinet. Like there was no like interactivity to it. So there was no talking. It was really quiet in there. And it was like this really old wood floor that would just creak.
Yes.
So it felt like you were walking through an old schoolhouse. And you were just like...
To be fair, that's how a lot of museums are.
Yeah, but it's
Or in
just
Europe,
like,
at least.
yeah, they need sound. They need interactivity. Like, show me how the phones used to be used. Like,
Yeah.
where's that video? Like, something.
So, for instance, one of the things that we were really excited by is that they were selling the fact that they had automatons there. Like the old...
Yeah, they called it an automaton theater, no
Yeah.
less. And I was like, oh, shit. Are they
So
going
we
to
finally find it, and we go in there. None of them are working as far as, like, there's not even an option for them to work.
They're just automatons that at one point worked in their lives.
Right.
In like behind a glass, and then like the theater part is all these chairs. It looks like these little cutout benches where you can sit on, but it was just like a computer screen at the front of it,
Yeah.
to where you could click on the random automatons in the room
To see what they
and it
actually
showed a
did.
video of them working.
But when you're actually sitting in the theater seats, or like in the stadium seats, I guess, there was a lot of people there that were from like an art academy or something, sketching things. Well, one of the people was this older lady that decided to put herself right in front of where you could actually watch from the seating, because she was sketching one of the automatons. So we couldn't get to the video screen to be able to choose any of the automatons, and she kept clicking on the same one that she was trying to try to sketch, so that she could sketch it like as it was moving or whatever. So we were just saying, like, okay, great. Like,
let us not forget. Let us not understand how weird it is to have a theater of like 5 to 6 rows of stadium-esque seating, all ending in just a computer screen at the bottom of it.
One computer screen.
And that being the theater.
And like almost like a sousaphone, like
what the fuck is this ghetto ass shit?
Yeah, it had like a gramophone, like for the speaker coming out of it.
It was ghetto. Basically, it was ghetto as fuck. I was just like, what the fuck is this?
And the one thing you think would be like one of the working automatons, like you click the button, and all it is one of the things on display was this automaton at a piano, and it would just play music.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the automaton didn't move at the piano. It just played music like it was at a piano.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Some of the buttons didn't work.
Yeah, like one of the buttons I tried to push, you saw like there was no light in there, and it says, but if you look closer in, it was saying like, oh, we're trying to make this better for you, and we're updating this particular display, so it'll work later. And you're like, oh, okay, great.
And they're like, they had these little theaters set up to where you could sit down and watch videos and stuff like that, but like none of the speakers on anything worked at all. And I'm wondering, either did they turn them down and just decide, yeah, it's too much noise, it's disturbing people, the acoustics in here bounce too much, let's make them silent? Or did they just not work anymore and they just didn't care to fix it? Like, what's the reason? There is this one part where you're walking through and they're separated into categories: communication, mechanics, all that. Well, this is between like progression and industry, like industrial progression and communications, which is where the phones and the cameras and all that were. And between the two was just a random sculpture of a lion and a snake.
Well, but what it was explaining is it was showing how the progression of glassworking, where you could sculpt a lion
Okay,
and
what
a
does
snake.
that have to do with communication and or industry?
Nothing. Again, it's showing like progression. So at that point, it's all of a sudden saying like, hey, by the way, now we can like sculpt like a full-size lion and a full-size snake like in battle, and then they added like fur to it and showing like, yeah, so we can also add fur and make it very lifelike. It wasn't very lifelike, by the way.
But it had nothing to do with any part of the museum. The only part it would have made sense on is
Was
if
at
it
the end.
was at
of
the
that
end,
talk.
and they didn't even have that.
Yeah. At that point, they were just showing like, hey, we can do like glasses and like vases. And then a little bit later on, it was like, hey, and then they learned how to do color again, because apparently that was a lost art. And then in the 1800s or something, they were able to relearn how to incorporate color into glasswork.
All I know is he took his time through it. I powered through it and then kept going to sleep at the end of each exhibit.
Well, because I was reading it, because I actually understand what he was saying, and every so often I'd find something that I was like actually interested in, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
What's sad is the transportation one would have probably been cool because you get to see like the first buses. And
Right. But we
by the
skipped
end
it.
of it, I was just like, I can't, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because
It was-
knowing the luck, we would have got down there and it wouldn't have been even been real ones. It would have been like little models of them.
There were
in
a
a
lot of
cabin.
models.
In a cabin. And I'm like, it felt like menageries. It's like, it's cool that they have all these objects. It's neat that they've collected it all, but it looks like a hodgepodge in an armoire because the way that they stored all the communications equipment were just in cabinets that you would store china.
Pretty much.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so they were just in like armoires. And you're just thinking like, is there nothing better they could have done for this?
Plus, like, there was no like cohesion between like what they were showing. Like it would
one
be,
case would be telephones, one case would be record players, one case would be
cinemas.
cinema.
Or
But then there would be another case of telephones
Yeah.
a few cases down.
Oh no.
No, there were a good amount of people there.
No, we did not
Probably
walk into a
all
house
art students.
because I had to pay to get into this museum, and there was guards and everything. So it was a legit museum. There was a lot of people there, yeah. Plus the art students who were taking or doing sketches of the.
Oh yeah, it has a 5-star review on Google.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, from where? When? And then I kept thinking, this is obviously a new museum. I'm going to give it a chance because I'm like, they're building it. But I'm like, no. Then I read that it's been around since 1794 and it's just been redone in 2000. And that was the last time. And I'm thinking like, this isn't old. This is old. This has been around a long time. What the fuck, man? I was like, oh my God. I was just like, get me out of here.
I mean, honestly, the highlight of it all was that they actually did have like one of the model sculptures of the Statue of Liberty that the sculptor had made.
Yeah, that was cool. But that was outside of the museum. We didn't even have to pay to see that.
Right, it was like a mini model, like literally maybe about day tall, on a pedestal, and he made it so that he knew like what he was actually building when he was making the real thing. But yeah, that was literally outside the museum. Didn't have to pay. Could have just gone through a bag check, and that was it. Instead, we paid €8 to get into this museum per person, and then went floor by floor by floor to see all of the hodgepodge.
The only part that was hands-on was this one little place where you could turn a gear.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was logging on. Wait, we've got 90 followers? Where did
I
that
know,
come
y'all are
from?
10 away from 100.
I know. It's exciting. I know. Exactly. 10 more hype. Woo! Oh, definitely. When we're not doing beer again. Instead, we're doing. We'll do it. It'll be interesting. Not looking forward to it.
What are y'all doing? Wine?
Next Sunday.
Mash Heaven?
No, we're doing like those alcoholic waters, like the White Claws, because there's nothing non-kosher about them.
What's the theme gonna? How are you gonna theme around it?
The theme is kosher-ish, beer-ish things. Like non-beer you can drink during kosher. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And that may actually be the type. Kosher-ish, non-beer
So you
things.
don't expect me to not eat pizza in front of me?
How are you going to eat pizza? You would require me to buy it for you. I'm not doing that. I almost would wish to, but yeah, that wouldn't work either. Especially since I do like the brewery that we was reading that article about. I do too. I do too. But you can only get it at the brewery. And you
What
would have
brewery?
to go. It's Collective Brewing Project out of Fort Worth. They're doing a Peeps flavored beer.
Ew.
And they're actually doing they're actually putting Peeps into the beer. In the,
I mean, y'all could road trip it.
I wouldn't be able to drink it unless I decided just to.
I mean, is it just for Passover?
It's just for Easter.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make an exception. Like, just make up the day, like, after. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just displace the day and be like, okay, well, I have this day. I'll just break it on this day and tack it on to the end of my sentence.
It's true. But would you really want to do a 4-hour trip just to do a Peeps beer? No. Because I'm sure yeah, exactly.
Can you buy a bottle from the brewery? Or is it just on
They said it was
tap?
just going to be on tap.
Decline.
Although their ramen beer you can get in bottle, and that one's really delicious. Not even Canada for sales.
So who was saying they went to Canada for sales?
Nicole.
That bitch didn't go to Canada just for snails.
She said
She knows it.
she said she had it at Red Lobster. It was one of the appetizers.
Good job.
Hey, Wani, how you doing?
Nicole would go to Canada and eat at a fucking Red Lobster.
Goldie, stop.
She would fucking go all the way to Canada and then fucking eat at a Red Lobster. What the fuck?
Only the best for Nicole.
Hey, aw, it's just here.
Oh, okay, I was going to say thanks. You've been sitting here and watching it the whole time. or
No,
you
he
didn't?
was live. He was streaming.
Oh, good point.
He was strumming. Morning. Cheese with your wine. Oh my God, your moderator's awake too.
Oh my God, and he's not even here.
Well, he just woke up.
What time is it?
I don't know, 2-ish? What time is it there, Z? No.
No, it's still Saturday. Wait, Rad's not my moderator.
No, I was saying Neo. Neo, because I
know.
dinged him, and he's like, I'm awake, I'm awake.
It's 3 p.m. Alright. It's, what, 8:30 here? Nope, it's 9. It just
I
hit
love
9
how,
o'clock.
like, Justin rated, nobody else did.
Whatever. We have 14 people right now.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, we're 9, you're 8. Although tonight it'll change to I'll be 10 and you'll be 8.
Yeah, he just said, holy shit, it's 3 in the afternoon.
Because that's how daylight savings works. Except for Florida, who just voted it down. So they no longer have daylight savings anymore. Yeah, Wani. Hey, Vetter, how you doing?
Just drinking and coughing. Aw, did
Yeah.
I get you sick? Oh no, did I get seasick? Oh no. Well, if I did see snow, it gets better. It gets better.
She says definitely allergies.
Yeah.
Rad's somewhat sick.
But you were already sick.
Yeah, you were.
It's allergies.
Paris is good. Paris is very good. We decided to go to a craft brewery here and live stream it, so here we are. Yay. So, what's the hops? The hops are, we're drinking the last of the 4 that were on tap here, which is the stout.
Then what are you going to drink? You got to get a full glass of something.
I do.
Yeah, you got to get a full glass of your favorite. I figure.
Oh, I was just going to end it when the beer ends.
Oh, all right.
They do.
This was like one of those limited time things. If they didn't catch you, they didn't catch you.
Exactly. But yeah, no, we've had wine. I've had beer while we were here. Goldie and I actually, after we saw Napoleon's tomb earlier today, we sat down for lunch and we both had wine. And then we went to that horrible museum of science and industry.
Cease and Rad. Oh, if only you could have been that adorable in person. Oh, Rad is so adorable in person. What do you mean?
Brad is very adorable.
He was
when he's
just a
hungover.
curled up little hungover man on a couch. What's not adorable about that? A man hating his life so much
It really
that
wants.
he's questioning his existence. What's not adorable about that?
Hashtag Cease Castle.
He was so hungover. He was. He goes, and the Cease walked in, and I instantly knew my purpose.
Was to open the door for her?
He didn't. He was
that's
passed
true.
out.
Oh, that's right. I forgot during the stream. He was like, I'm awake. I'm awake.
I'm awake, I'm awake, I'm awake. He slept through the whole thing.
Yay, de-icing season is over. Except when you're here, apparently. The day before we got here, actually it did snow. And so it was kind of weird. And then, was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. There were strikes on the trains, so we were kind of worried that we weren't going to be able to do anything. But luckily they voted no, sorry, that was the day before. 2 days ago, they decided, the subway or the metro decided that they were not going to strike like the train people were going to do. So, yeah, exactly. So instead, they were like, yep, we're at full capacity here, so we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. So we were good for that. But apparently, like Air France flights, 25% of them were canceled because of the strikes on the 22nd. Yeah. See? Yeah. Like, it's a thing. And if you come next month through June, every other weekend, or maybe it's every weekend, every week, 2 days out of the week, they're going to be striking. So if you decide to come, just know there's going to be strikes for 2 days in a row, opposed to the one day we had that did not affect us whatsoever. Exactly. In America, they would go like, we're striking. They're like, well, you're all fired. Who cares? Here, they're like, hey, we're all striking. They're like, oh, we support you. Yeah, let's do this. Because it was also like 25% of the schools were striking as well. It was the baggage handlers and like people at the airports were striking. The trains were striking. It was because it wasn't really wage issues. It was because of the fact that Macron decided that he was. It was because of a new rule he was going to try to institute about, from what I understand at least, to take away like. The benefits you get. Like your family is supposed to normally be able to ride for free as long as you're a worker, and obviously you ride for free. Well, families were not going to be able to ride for free. Also, it was something to do with like retirement as well. Like they were going to take away like parts of that.
But keep in mind, this is the same country that went up in arms because the government tried to take away a tomb or barricade off a tomb that people like to rub the dick on. So
Yeah.
they rioted about that.
Oh, you can't hear us? Oh, can you hear me now? Okay, good.
Comes back. Refresh. But yeah, like I was saying, like this is the same country that So there's this grave, right? That is a famous journalist.
Nope. Right. Did you try to refresh? Maybe that still is working. Hey, thanks, Vetter, for the follow. Can you hear me now? La 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 la. Test, test, 1, 2.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, so let me try to refresh. Okay, yeah, let me try to refresh on my end, and I'll try to be right back here. How do I do this? All right. Can you hear me now? No? Okay. Then let's just stop
Yeah,
it.
no, they can. They
Oh,
can.
you can?
They
Okay.
can hear, yeah.
Okay. One C says no. Accident says yes. Maybe try refreshing, see if that works. No audio still. Damn. Was me. There's some neutrality shit. Racist ass mixer. Alright. Well, then maybe let's stop and I'll come right back then.
Isn't that what you did the first time?
No, I paused.